Hello YouTube, welcome to my YouTube channel again. This is the final video of 2017 and the final Sunday of 2017. I'm Jared Fuller, glad you could join me this week. Today is Sunday, December 31st, 2K17. There is a lot to go over, and I'm going to start with the most recent. Yesterday was Bryson Ricker's funeral in Rockford, Michigan. The service was beautiful. It was at the Resurrection Life Church. There wasn't a dry seat in the house anywhere. In the lobby, because Resurrection Life Church is quite a big church, and in the lobby they had his dirt bike, because Bryson loved sports. He loved dirt bike racing, and he loved to just, he was a sports kind of a kid. And they had his dirt bike and all of his trophies, and there were several trophies. And I was able to take some pictures, and so it was a good service, but it was sad at the same time. Personally, for me, what I got from the service was, Bryson's at peace now. He no longer has to suffer, and he no longer has to fight. But at the same time, my heart breaks for Kim and Brian and his brother Preston. Bryson was only 16, and he would have been 17 on January 4th of 2018. And he passed away on the 23rd, just right before Christmas. And if the Ricker family is watching, I just want to say again that my heart goes out to you. I love you with all my heart, and if there's anything further I could do to help the family, please don't hesitate to get a hold of me. I'll see what I can do to help, or if you just need somebody to talk to, I'm always available for a chat anytime. So that was yesterday. I went to my cousin's house after I left Bryson's funeral yesterday. I went to my cousin's house. They live up by Gladwin. They had a birthday party for my little cousin Alexis. She's only 3. And it was the cutest thing. Right before, because I told them, I was getting ready to go because it was late. And Alexis, Dan, she's trying to say my name. She can't say my name, but it's cute just how she says it. And just, Dan. What, baby? She puts her arms up. Hug me? So, okay, I will hug you. So I picked her up, gave her hugs and kisses, and I'll see you later. You be good for Mommy and Daddy. And I gave Ethan hugs and said bye to the other kids. And it was a good time. I enjoy spending time with my family, although they live so far away. But it's worth the drive to see family that actually cares, and family who actually wants you around. So that's always nice. My stepdad was hospitalized a couple days ago, I think. Wasn't it a couple days ago, Dad?
Yeah.
Yeah.
A couple days ago.
My stepdad, Jimmy, he called my dad's cell phone, and he couldn't make out what he was saying. And Dad handed me the phone and says, Jared, can you make out what he said? Jimmy, and he, blah, 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 blah. What? What's going on here? So we rushed down to his house because he lives, about 3 miles away, and we couldn't get in because all of his doors were locked. And it's like, this is really not good, because in the event of emergency, if somebody's got to get inside the house, we can't do it because he locks the doors. And so Dad went up to the front door, and he started kicking the door as hard as he could. He was able to pop open the storm door, but he started kicking the door, and Jimmy was unable to unlock the front door. He wants it. And Dad went to kick the door again, and the door started popping open from where Jimmy unlocked it. And I said, wait, stop kicking, because if you kick it, you're going to knock him out. You're going to kick the door, and the door is going to bounce off his head, and you're going to knock him out. So So we were able to get in, and when we got in the house, Jimmy was crawling on his hands and knees, and his speech was slurred. And so I called a paramedic, and they just 40 questioned me. It's like, they're asking me questions about his health history, and I'm thinking, well, what better person to ask about someone's health history than the person who is in need of the help? I mean, I don't know anything about his health history, and I clearly stated that specifically to dispatch, and they said, well, we're not asking for his health history, sir. Well, it sure sounded like it to me. And finally, I had enough of answering questions. I said, just send a paramedic. Just send somebody. I'm done answering your questions. Just send a paramedic out here. So the ambulance showed up. There were two paramedics, a guy and a gal, and they were taking checking his blood pressure, his vitals, and all that stuff. And so they brought in the gurney, wheeled him out of the house, and they took him to Owasso to Memorial by ambulance, and he's still at the hospital, which we're probably going to go see him after I finish this up and upload it to my channel. We're probably going to make a trip to Owasso. Were we going to go see Jimmy today?
He's supposed to call me and let me know if he's getting released today. If not, we'll see him.
Okay. So we might be going to Owasso today. There's nothing written in stone yet. But I heard possibly a mini stroke. That was the initial, the prognosis of what we heard. But then now they're saying that they can't find anything. So, I mean, someone who's on their hands and knees with slurred speech, I wouldn't necessarily call that nothing. I mean, granted, I don't have a PhD in medicine, but I have a PhD in common sense. And if somebody's on the floor crawling on their hands and knees and can't speak, can't complete a sentence, that's indicative of a health issue, and they need medical attention. And when they get to the hospital, we can't find anything. Yeah, his face was droopy. He had a very pale look to him, and it's like, well, something is not right here. And now they're telling him, well, we couldn't find anything. Well, it's nothing, sorry.
I told him to get a second opinion.
And like Dad just said, he told him that, you should demand a second opinion. I said go to Sparrow, go to these guys here, because they do an amazing job at Sparrow. And at U of M and Hurley and countless other hospitals in Michigan. They do excellent work. Not Memorial. I wouldn't take my dog to them. But anyway, moving on. Jimmy seems to be doing okay now. He's talking normally. And has he been eating? Do you know?
Yeah, he's been eating good.
He's been eating good. He's able to keep it down?
He's been eating there.
Oh, eating there.
How good he's been eating, but with that food.
Yeah, hospital food. I don't know if I would consider that good either, but at least he's eating, I guess is the point I was trying to make. Other than that, I mean, it's been a stressful week. The bills, I mean, we've all got bills, but we had a very high electric bill, and it had Dad, myself on edge because it came in at close to $400. And it's never been that high. Plus, we have propane that we have to pay. And it's been a very stressful week. And by the way, did you call consumers to tell them that our payment will be late?
No.
You might want to call them.
They can't shut us off.
I know they can't shut us off, but what I'm saying
I'll call them tomorrow.
is that you should get a hold of them to let them know that our payment will be late.
Yeah.
They didn't really give us much time because...
I'll call them.
Yeah, it's New Year's Day tomorrow.
Tuesday.
On the 4th.
Yeah.
The 3rd. I don't even know what day of the week it is. I've been losing days of the week. I've just been stressed all week long. Huh?
Tomorrow's the 1st. The
Tomorrow's the 1st. And 2nd is Tuesday.
Yeah.
I don't know. I've been under so much stress all week long. it's been a rough week. It's been very difficult. We even found out that our neighbor 2 houses down had passed away on the 23rd of December, same day that Bryson passed away.
At home.
And she died at home.
Yeah.
She was a business partner at Granny's Kitchen in Oakley. She was 67 years old.
Real nice person.
And she was very nice. I knew she was on oxygen, but I heard that she also had cancer.
Which we didn't know.
And yeah, we didn't know it until after.
Nice lady.
She was cremated, so I'm guessing they didn't have services for her? They didn't have a funeral?
No, they're pending.
Oh, it's pending. Well, if she was cremated, I mean, there wouldn't be...
But they're not, they don't know when the service is going to be.
Oh. They might even... Well, I mean, she's cremated now, so they'll probably have a
family members, maybe.
Private thing for the family, like a celebration of life. So yeah, it's been a very, very long and stressful week. Another friend of ours had passed away unexpectedly. His name was Tim Ruppel, and his daughter Savannah works at the Back 40. She's a bartender and a waitress. I went to school with her, and I don't think Savannah watches my videos. She probably doesn't even know I have a channel. But if
I was friends with her dad.
Yeah, and if by chance she does watch these videos, Savannah, I'm sorry for your loss, and my heart goes out to you and your family, and I hope that you're able to find some peace after all this tragedy. So today is a couple of, actually one person in particular that I can think of. Today is her birthday. Her daughter is an actress. I just got off the phone with her about 45 minutes ago. Melissa, happy birthday and much love to you. And I hope that you have a wonderful birthday and you ring in the new year on a happy note. And 38. She's 38 today. So, and I'm going to be 32 in July. She's not much older than me. Not by much. About 7 years or so. And another birthday today is Cancer Warrior's sister. Today is her 6th birthday. And I said a couple people because she came to mind today as well. But you know, I try to put everybody, you know, I like to make people aware that I think about them. And so that's why I said a couple of people. I was actually thinking of my friend Melissa, who lives in Maryland. Her daughter is an actress, and a very talented actress, mind you. And so I just wanted to call and wish her a happy birthday. And now I'm here doing a video shout-out, or, yeah, a shout-out to her in my video update. I need more coffee. That's what I need, because I can't talk. So, you know, all of my videos that you have seen this year, everything I talk about here in my videos is all ad-libbed. There's no written script. I don't have any formal written itinerary of things I want to talk about. I just talk about things that come to my mind. Although in 2018 I should start doing that. If I'm able to, you know, print something off and just, you know, have a list of things I want to talk about and then just go by the paper. Or I can write something down. You know, something's got to change so I'm not ad-libbing and, oh yeah, I forgot to mention that by the time the video ends. And I got to be better prepared at these things. So other than that, I mean, there's really not a whole lot going on other than it's been a very stressful week. I hope you all had a nice Christmas. And I hope 2018 will be better for all of us. I mean, I say that every year. I hope the next year will be better than the previous. But, you know, life goes on. I mean, you can't predict things. You can't ever be too prepared. But I will say that I do care enough to want the better for everybody. So that's what I try to implement, is just love and understanding and respect and family and things like that. So I do wish the best for all of us in 2018. I hope that people will behave better, which
Come together.
I don't think people are ever going to change their ways and behavioral patterns.
People need to come together.
Because you have people who they just, I don't know, it's just, I think, and Dad knows this, I guess for me, I just expect better from people. I'm not saying I'm better than anybody, and my standards aren't over the moon. I'm just saying that I would expect people of sound mind and body to better educate themselves and better understand things before they just jump to conclusions and make assumptions about things that they have not bothered to even look into. They just go by an appeal to popularity. Well, all these people said it, and it's the number of people that convinces other people that something is true. And my only hopes in 2018 is that everybody stops for 1 minute to think, well, you know what? This appeal to popularity, just because all these people say it, it doesn't mean that it's true. Oh, and just because I read something on the internet, it also doesn't mean that it's true. Now, if I, at any time, because there have been times where I have tried to make amends with people, and I would email them, and I would say, hey, this is what's going on. I don't understand why you're treating me this way, but I would like to understand, and I would like to know of how we could fix this, or at least make amends. And if you don't want to be friends with me, cool. I mean, I'm not losing sleep over it, but the least I want to do is try to make things right and say, hey, you were wrong about this, and I would consider having you talk to me if you are willing to reconsider your stance and look at something from a broader perspective instead of, well, all these people said it. I don't care what all those people say. It doesn't mean jack to me, because I'm more of a person who looks for truth and understanding, and I try to implement that as much as I can. I don't like to fight with people. I'm not a confrontational person. I don't look for fights or arguments. But I've had so much thrown at me this year, just in this year alone, by people who are grown and mature, and they act as if they are still in high school. It's time to grow up. And if you want to really and truly resolve issues in a nonviolent way, I'm all for that. But in the meantime, stop acting like a buffoon and, oh, he's harassing me. He's being mean to me. That's ridiculous. It's not harassment, and I'm not being mean. I'm trying to understand what happened, and I want to make peace. I want to make amends with people, and I don't want enemies. Although, speaking truth about certain things, yeah, you're going to get enemies. That's bound to happen anywhere you go. You're going to have people who don't like you. But as I always say, if you don't have enemies in your life, at least one enemy, then you haven't said anything at all in life that's worth the bother to listen to, because you're only reinforcing the opinions of other people. You know, and just because you believe an opinion on a factual level doesn't make it a fact. And I hope, 2018 has got to be a better year. I mean, as far as death and dying goes, well, we can't stop that. We can't control that. It's inevitable. It's going to happen whether we want it to or not. But as far as the fighting and the drama and the misunderstanding is concerned, we can control that. We can limit that. You know, if you say something out of turn, well, I'm sorry that you mistook something. That's not what I meant. This is what I meant. And if you would, unplug your ears and listen to what I have to say, I could explain what I meant by that. See, it's that civilization of talking. And I believe in conflict resolution. I believe that we should be talking out our problems and not fighting out our problems, which seems to be the case all the time. I just hope everything will be better. I hope people will think better and reasonably and logically about things, and not be so quick to judge and jump on bandwagons. Now, Christmas Day, I was at my grandpa's house, and some things were said about childhood cancer that really struck me, and it got me upset. It pissed me off. And I just got up and walked out, because there were people who were talking about things relating to childhood cancer that they should have no opinion of whatsoever. And I challenged this person. They have all these things that were written back in World War II times. I don't care about World War II times. You know what I care about? I care about the here and now. And the here and now means that we've been able to stand on the shoulders of the earliest pioneers of pediatric medicine from those times all the way down the line, and we've gotten better at it gradually at spotting things. I still wish for a cure for childhood cancer in my lifetime before I die. That's number one on the bucket list. Now, there's speculation that there is a cure for childhood cancer, and the government won't release it, because if they release it, then it's going to eat up their profit, big pharma kind of thing. And my conspiracy way of thinking is, that is the case. In my conspiracy theory mind, there is a cure, and they're just not releasing it because of the profit. It would take money away from big pharma. It sounds logical, but at the same time, I ask myself, what if there isn't? What if there really isn't a cure for this? What if in fact, we don't have a cure yet, an actual cure for certain cancers, and there really is nothing to show? So I'm neutral as far as, there is a cure versus there is no cure. I'm just in the middle, because either way, I don't know. I can't verify that. And I think I mentioned this once before in my my videos, that I'm neither here nor there, but I understand the thinking and the logic behind it. Well, it would eat up the money. Big pharma would lose money if they released the cure for certain childhood cancers, because that's where they make the profits from people who are sick. I mean, we see this all the time with, when we go to the pharmacy and we pick up prescriptions, and you got to pay a copay, and I have insurance, but I still have to pay out of pocket. I was just talking to my dad about this too. They fine you for not having medical insurance, which is, to me, is stupid right off the bat, because if you can't afford insurance, how are you going to afford to pay a fine? But they fine you for not having medical insurance to begin with, and even when you do have insurance, it still does not cover the certain things that you need, so you're still stuck paying out of pocket. Therefore, why not just pay the fine and get it done for not having insurance, because you're going to be stuck paying for it anyway when you do need it. So I don't understand how that works.
Besides that, what about all the homeless people? Are they going to go find them on the streets and find the homeless?
Yeah, I mean, there's people who are living under bridges, and they can't afford not even a can of peas, let alone medical insurance, and you're going to find them? Well, where are they going to get the money? They don't have money. If they had money, they would have insurance.
There's a lot of people in jail.
It's one of those things. So, but again, I can't prove it either way. None of you can prove it either way. Like the big pharma, like the bigger, and we're not talking just little bottles of NyQuil or co-pays on pills, prescription medication. I'm talking about the bigger issue, the science behind the cures. I'm all for raising awareness to childhood cancer. I will always be. And, awareness equals research equals funding, I think is how it goes, or I may be getting that wrong, but awareness will lead up to that. And that's why I encourage everybody to raise awareness to childhood cancer.
And they got all these medicines that are coming out with new ones.
They call those trials.
Yeah. New medicines. Supposed to help you.
But that's why I encourage everybody to raise awareness. And there's a bit of a rant that I wanted to get into about this whole awareness thing. A lot of people, I understand, they don't raise awareness because it's too painful to deal with. Childhood cancer, you're telling me. I survived it. And by no means, I don't gloat about surviving. There's survivor guilt going on that you would have no idea how I feel about that. And of course, with my buddy Preston, a warrior brother whose brother Bryson had passed away, I could only imagine his survivor guilt is through the roof. I shouldn't speak for him, but I can imagine, because Preston is a thyroid cancer survivor and his brother had passed away after 2 years of fighting DIPG. And perhaps I shouldn't speak for Preston, but I can imagine his survivor guilt, if any, is colossal. And it makes mine look very, very minuscule. But anyway, raising awareness to childhood cancer is not only important, but it is essential. It's the people that pick up your trash. It's your auto mechanic. It's your teacher. It's your children's classmates. It's everybody. There's always a family somewhere in your neighborhood or around the world that is affected by childhood cancer. And just because it's not happening to your child right this very minute, it doesn't mean that it could never happen. And that is why raising awareness is essential. It is important. Because my mom and dad in a million years never thought that it would be me. They never thought it would be one of their own children. Turns out it was one of their own children. And although I'm no professional at raising awareness, I'm just a survivor / advocate who will make it known as much as I can, as often as I can. If I got to be the kind of person who decorates my mailbox in gold ribbon, I'll do it, just to raise awareness to childhood cancer. Something further has to be done. And the one thing I will never understand is how we live in a democracy where children are our top priority. Now, this is the confirmed bias that I always talk about. And there's a lot of confusion as to, well, what does Jared mean by confirmed biases about children? The confirmed bias that we have in our culture is that the world revolves around children. It is a bias that is confirmed by society. It is confirmed by our government. However, children are number one, but yet why are they getting the shaft on health care, especially when they have cancer? And again, Big Pharma comes in. Well, because if the cure is released, then that takes all their money away. That eats up all their profits. Which to me is just appalling and disgusting that they would value money over people. But again, like I said, I don't have the answer to anything. I'm not absolutely certain of anything other than children are getting the shaft. And we need to start focusing more on people. In this democracy, we need to focus more. It's like this. If you're going to preach children being number one, then you need to make it known. You need to make that come alive. Saying it means nothing unless you actually do it. Actions speak louder than words. And I don't know how much more clear I could be about that. Something has to change. Something more needs to be done, obviously, because this is becoming an issue more and more and more every day. And, if I was president of the United States, nobody would like me for sure, because I would actually make things happen. They would want to impeach me or overthrow me in a hot second, because of the fact that I would value people over money. Money is life is temporary. Life is temporary. And money, you can't take it with you when you go. Money can be replaced. People can't. And it's just getting government enthralled in that way of thinking. That, there's got to be some way to loosen the bolts, or loosen the confusion, or whatever's going on in the minds of our elected officials, to say, hey, you want to sit there on your throne and talk about how much children are number one in our country, so then we need to start making that happen. Put your actions to your words. But I have gone on long enough about that. Just raise awareness to childhood cancer is what I'm trying to say. Just because it's not your kids today doesn't mean that it couldn't be your kids tomorrow. So please, please, please raise awareness as often as you can. I encourage it. And, there's a lot of people who they're big on the New Year's resolutions. Pencil that onto your list of New Year's resolutions. To bring awareness to childhood cancer, to be someone who makes it known. Share those ribbons. Share the information with people who may not otherwise know. And if you have questions, ask me. What was your battle like? What were the names of the chemo drugs that you took? Do you remember this? Do you remember that? I can give you a yes or no question, or I could fill you in on some things, because I have lots of information, and I plan on making another appointment with my pediatric oncologist, who still works in Lansing, Dr. Scott, and I have some more questions that I have for him. As a matter of fact, I have the paper right here. Now, this I have written down, so I'm going to be prepared when I see Dr. Scott. So I've got 4 questions written down so far. Number 1, how big was the tumor? Because I had Wilms tumor. Number 2, on what dates did chemo and radiation begin? Number 3, on what dates did chemo and radiation end? So that could be, the day that they removed my port. And number 4, what was the name of my surgeons? So I'm sure Dr. Scott would have all that information. He would have to somewhere, because he's got my original yellow folder from 1989 and all the consent forms that my parents had to sign for the chemo, the radiation, the blood transfusion, the surgery for kidney removal, all that stuff. So I'm sure he's got it somewhere in that great big yellow pages, case file of mine. And the paperwork is very thick, very thick. So, yeah, that's my message for this week. And for 2018 is to raise awareness to childhood cancer. Make that a New Year's resolution tonight. And speaking of tonight, I know a lot of you are going to be drinking to ring in the new year, but here's something I want you all to remember, is that your actions may have consequences if you choose to drink and drive, not just for you, but the people around you. So if you're going to drink, let somebody else drive you home tonight. Do not get behind the wheel if you've been drinking. And have fun tonight, and take it easy, and remember who you are and where you're at, and just have fun. And, let's ring in the new year on a happy, healthy note. I won't have anybody to kiss this year for New Year's when the clock strikes midnight. There's that passionate kiss between couples, but I don't have anybody, so I won't be kissing anybody. But, oh well. maybe 2018 will be the year that I find somebody. That'll be one of my resolutions. And my number one resolution, I think, is to try to get more involved in events, charities, and things, and write more in my journal books, because I haven't been writing very much at all. I've been in book 126 since 2016, and I'm in the final pages of book 126, but I'll probably begin that tomorrow. My new journal, book 127. I'll start that tomorrow. But anyway, guys, I guess that's about it. I can't think of anything else to talk about from the previous week, other than I was at my grandpa's on Christmas Day, and I was at my uncle's house. There were some some notable deaths. So I was at the funeral yesterday for Bryson Ricker. I guess I'll just talk about this again. And they had this they were playing this reel of pictures of Bryson when he was a kid growing up, and they had just all throughout his childhood, from childhood all the way up into his teenage years, and you could tell the big difference that DIPG had taken over. When you compare the pictures from his childhood up until the end, it was very heartfelt, and it was very genuine, and it was emotional, and I'm really going to miss Bryson. I'm really going to miss him. I met him, the one time I met him was at Morley Park in Cedar Springs, because we had it was a charity event, and I made a video, and you can watch it on my YouTube channel here. It was a video, just kind of showing everybody, all the people that was there. I didn't get any video footage of Bryson or Preston or Brian or Kim, but I was there, and I met them, and I'll never forget it. When I got home that night, because the day I had met Bryson and Preston, Bryson was in a wheelchair, and he had an eye patch. And I went up to him, I shook his hand, I said, "Hello, Bryson, my name is Jared Fuller, it's nice to meet you." And he says, "It's nice to meet you." Had a very beautiful, bright smile, and he was so polite. And I shook Preston's hand, I said, "Nice to meet you, Preston." And he says, "Nice to meet you." And I shook Brian's hand, and it was that very day that Brian had given me this, I can show you guys here real quick. It's this bracelet, this blue one right here, this one right here. That's when Brian had noticed all the other bracelets on my arm, and he says, "Well, here, add that to your collection." But to me, this is not just a collection of bracelets. It is, it's my brothers and sisters. It's my brothers and sisters, and many of them are gone now. And I feel horrible. I feel bad about that. My heart breaks for the families, and Bryson's funeral, Bryson Ricker's funeral, was the very first funeral I had ever attended for a cancer warrior in all the going on 5 years that I had been raising awareness to childhood cancer. Bryson's funeral was the very first in my tenure of being an advocate. So I'm very, very, I was fortunate to get to know Bryson and Preston. And again, if the Rickers are watching this, I just want them to know that I love them deeply with all my heart. And if there's anything I can do, I just want them to reach out to me and say, "Hey, could you, we need you for this," or Could you do this for us? Sure. You know, let me see what I can do. So I was coming home, or I was headed to my cousin's house from the funeral. I left Rockford and I went up 131 into Big Rapids. I got on M20 and I went east and I came through Remus and Mount Pleasant and I came into Midland, you know. And I noticed, I was coming through Mount Pleasant and I noticed one of the most amazing, beautiful sunsets I had ever seen in my life. And I thought of Bryson. And I thought, you know what, maybe that's a sign from Bryson just telling us that he's at peace now. That he doesn't have to hurt no more. That he is better. He's been healed. And it was one of the most amazing, most beautiful sunsets I'd ever seen in my life. So it was pretty, hit me in the chest. It was very emotional. It just made me think. And I broke down crying when I was driving home, or on my way to my cousin's house, rather. Because the reality, it hit me like a ton of bricks when I was driving. And my mother, she lives near a town called Wademan, which is up by Mount Pleasant. And I wanted to stop in and see her, but I just wanted to get to my cousin's house, Heidi and Elwood's house, before it got too late. But the emotions hit me because it's like I'm that close to my mom, and I should have went to see Mom. And I'm gonna get up there to see Mom. I'm still planning to get up there and see her. I've only been up there to see her once, and I miss my mom. I need to get up there and see Mom when I can. But you know, that kind of goes both ways too. I mean, she could come down here and see me too, just saying. But I was that close to her and I didn't go in and see her, and I felt bad. But I had other things to do, and I will make it a point to get up there and see her. I love my mom. My mom and dad, they've been divorced for about 15 years, going on 16 years in June. I really need to see my mom, you know, because I live with Dad, as many of you know, obviously. I live with my dad, and I see my dad every day. I love him. We're very close. But I need to see my mom too, you know, because in this lifetime, you're only going to have one mom and one dad, biological mom and dad. You're only going to have one. And, you know, it was just one of those days yesterday. I just had a very rough day. Today, I'm doing a little better. And mind you, I only had like an hour and a half of sleep between, you know, the night before last, because I was at the hospital with Jimmy. And I was able to pick up like an hour and a half of sleep, and then I was on the road again. I had to go to Rockford the next morning, and I left home about 6 o'clock. And I was actually the first one at the church. I got there around 8 in the morning. It was like a 2-hour drive. Because I didn't know how the roads were going to be. We had a dusting of snow overnight that night, and I didn't know how the roads were going to be, and I wanted to leave early enough to make sure I would get there safely, and you know, it was just a rough day yesterday. So anyway, guys, I'm doing better today. And for those of you who were calling and texting and emailing, showing your concern, again, I thank you all so much from the bottom of my heart. And I hope 2018 will be a good year for all of us, including myself, of course. But anyway, this is the final video update of 2017. Thank you for being here with me this year, good or bad. Yeah, I have people who love me, but I think the number of people who love me, it outweighs the number of people who are now against me, and cool. Because love always conquers hate. So, I hope you'll carry that attitude with you into 2018. Much love to all of you. Thanks for being with me this year. Thank you for subscribing to my YouTube channel. Thanks for listening to my endless rants and watching my poem videos, and for just being there. Let's go into 2018 with a positive attitude. And, you know, if you have hardships with people, please settle your differences and make amends with people. Because life is too short. Peace. Happy New Year.